Welcome to a bit of a different video. Today I will tell you about how to survival hunter. This is only for raiding though, as I suck hard at PvP, so listen to someone else when it comes to that. In this video I will go over consumables, your base gear, where to find a list for that, general hunter tips and which pets you should be using, how to be a good raider. Not everyone might know that. Your stat gains, talents and glyphs, which professions you should be using and why, your rotation, and a bit of a setup to make it easier to play Survival Hunter. And of course there will be timestamps in the video, so you can skip to whatever you need to see. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing on the list is your consumables. So this is just pretty much common knowledge, I think, but just in case someone doesn't know it. For Flask, you should be using Flask of the Spring Blossoms, which gives you agility. For food, you should be using Sea Mist rice noodles. I know they're a bit expensive now, but it's the best Aggie food that's out there. For pots, you should use Vermin Spites. Remember to pre-pot, pretty common. So use a pot right before pull and during the pull where you pop cooldowns. And of course have some Tome of Clear Minds on you to reset glyphs and talents during the raid if it's needed for some of the bosses. Yeah, pretty simple. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so when it comes to gear, I like to use this list from wowtbc.gg. It's a list of your best pieces as a survival hunter, and it also shows which other pieces you could be hunting for in case you don't get your best piece. So you have like a list of what items to go for and which ones are better than which. It also shows you which gems you should be using and which enchants you should be using for the most optimized gear. This list sometimes is a bit wonky and not always correct, and that's where I like to use this side, Wow Sims. It shows you your items, like you can pick other preset items here. Now we're on pre-raid best, so this is the best set you can have before raid. And then you can like, oh, I'm not an engineer, so let's pick another hit piece. Let's take this one as an example, and then you can see how much damage you would be doing with that headpiece over the other headpiece, and you can simulate different kind of item setups to see which one is the best. So I use these two. For this one, you also need a add-on called WoW Exporter, and then you can import a string into here and click the import button, and then it will show your gear that you have on currently with the talents and profession and so on. You go into settings here, pick your race, pick which professions you have, which buff you will be having, and so on, to have the most optimized simulation of what you would be doing in DPS on a patchwork fight, obviously. So it's not gonna be 100%, but it's gonna be somewhat close. Okay, a few hunter tips. I've seen some people saying that I do fast disengages, and here it's how I do it, and you might need to, like, it's something that my brain just does because I've been playing hunter for such a long time. But what I'll do is, if I want to go left, I look to the right while holding down the mouse button, the left mouse button. Then I will jump and click the right, or hold the right button down and click on disengage, so like this. And then I go to the left. Right? So what I'll do is I look to the left or to the right to go left, jump and click right, and disengage. So it looks like this. And sometimes you overshoot a bit, and sometimes it's a bit a weird angle, but hey, when it goes fast in your rating, it's just what it is, right? Hey, and we got some dark soil right here. Making some best friends. Okay, let's get on to what makes a hunter hunter. Pets. Like, until you get Lone Wolf, and then you're never bringing a pet anymore. You can have 5 pets on you, and you should have one of each on you. If you're raiding 10 man, you have to think hard about what people you're raiding with classes, and bring whatever buffs you're lacking. If you're raiding 25 man, you shouldn't really be lacking any, but if you do, check with your guildmates And here are what all the pets are doing. The Raptor or Strider gives Thunder or AK armor reduction. The Wolf and Hydra gives 5% crit to your raid. The Cat gives 3k mastery. Serpent gives attack speed 10%. Spore Bat gives 5% spell haste, good for your casters. The Serpent or Dragon Hawk, no, it's not the Serpent, it's just the Dragon Hawk, gives 5 magic damage taken to the target, and the Ravager increases the physical damage taken by 4%. So take 5 of these pets on you and bring them always, so you can switch up for whatever you need in your raid. Okay, before we start about talking about hunter optimization, I want to talk about something else. And that is, you don't need to be super optimized and be the best hunter in the world to clear the hardest bosses in World of Warcraft. Take me as an example. I'm not the best hunter in the world, but hey, I clear the stuff on the hardest difficulties. So what do you actually need to be a good raider? Well, you need to be adaptable. You need to be able to change, like either spec, maybe rotation, like if you learn something is wrong you're doing, you need to be adaptable and start learning what to do right. You also need to be adaptable to strategies. If your guild is gonna take on another approach than a video you've seen or something like that, to be able to kill the bosses. Sometimes the fastest passes guilds are doing something that is not good for your comp or your guild to do. So you might do it a different way, and you need to be open and adaptable to change their strategies. Yeah, you also need to be consistent. You need to meet up to raids on time, consistently, so people can trust you. You also need to play well. You don't need to play the best, but you need to play well consistently, so you don't have good days and bad days, but you just have consistently days where you play well. And be enjoyable to be with. Like, this is some MMO, you're playing with other people. If people don't like to raid with you, hey, guess what? They're not gonna invite you to the raids. So maybe keep the complaining on a down low if you disagree with the raid. Maybe come with some arguments on how to do it better, and have it like be more realistic instead of just complaining. Have fun while you raid. Enjoy other people's company, because it is other people you're playing with. It's not just NPCs. So yeah. And it also makes the game more fun if you actually like to play with the people you're raiding with. On to the Survival Hunter stuff. Now we're on to the Survival Hunter part of the video. And we are gonna talk stats. So for stats, on all hunters, you want hit and expertise to be at 7.5%. That is 2,550 in total for each. In general, as a Survival Hunter, you want crit, haste, mastery. But sometimes haste and mastery and crit are like this, and you want to hit some specific thresholds. To help with that, you can install an add-on called Reforged Light, which will help you calculate your stat gains, as shown here. Okay, so what you want to do when you open Reforged Light, it will open automatically when you talk to the Reforged dude in the city. So what you do is you choose a preset. For us, we choose survival, and then you choose what you're gonna use survival for. We're gonna use it for raiding. Then it will come up with these stat gains, which is the stat gains you want to go for. Then you hit the calculate button, which takes ages for me. I don't know why, but it does. Just let it work. And when it has done calculating, you go down here and hit the show button. As you can see, mine is already all good, and you hit the reforge button, and then we'll do all the reforging for you to the correct stat weights. That's just how you do it. There is another way you can do it, and that is going into the WoW sims that we were on before. They also have a suggest reforge button, but it will say the same stuff as Reforged Light, so it gives the same result. There's just 2 ways to do it. Okay, let's talk about talents and glyphs. So, for talents, let's go with them. Level 15, you want to go for Hidden Chimera. In general, some bosses might need post haste for some extra movement speed. You change dependingly. For level 30, you want to take Binding Shot pretty much always. It's the best one. It's AoE stun, and it stuns for the longest. It can be a bit tricky to get people stunned by having to move, but it shouldn't be an issue during raiding. For level 45, always Aspect of the Hawk. It's the overall best. It reduces damage, so there's no reason to take the healing ones, because the overall damage reduction is usually the best. For level 60, you take Favor for single target, or Thrill of the Hunt for AoE, and you need a lot of AoE. It needs to be a heavy AoE fight for you to take Thrill of the Hunt over Favor. Favor is especially good because it allows you to do your full opener rotation without having to using Cobra Shot. For 75, you use Crows, always. Crows is the best one. It's the one that deals the most damage overall. And for 90, you take Glyphs. And you take Barrage for big AoE fights. Also, a thing to note here is that Glyphs has a static damage in the text, where Barrage has a weapon scaling damage, so it might get better the later we get in the expansion. So keep that in mind. And for Glyphs, you want to always have Animal Bond for extra healing gain from the healers. That's always nice when they heal some extra on you. And the Deterrence for some damage reduction when you have Deterrence up. For the third one, it's kind of up to you. It's really depending on the fight. You can take Disengage. Disengage are longer. You can take Explosive Trap if you need some knockback in the fight. Noted, I did that on Will of the Emperors, and it was a shit show, so I unglyphed it again. Sometimes it can knock the wrong way, and it's not that predictable. You can take Liberation, so every time you disengage, you heal for 5% of your HP. That one is pretty good overall, actually. You can take Tranquilling Shot, so your Trank Shot won't cost focus, but there's a cooldown on it. It's a good glyph for when you need to Trank once every now and then, so you won't be spending your focus on Trank Shotting. As an example, I tried to use it on Spirit Kings, but we needed to Trank way more in my 10-man group, so I had to unglyph it again and actually spend all my focus on removing debuffs. Yeah, but those are like your options. A notable one is Mirror Blades. There might be some bosses where it can come in handy and spell reflect some stuff, but I think in general you won't be using it. Okay, let's talk about professions. Personally, I am Leatherworker and Enchanter, and I'm not gonna be switching because my guild doesn't really have an Enchanter except for me, and Leatherworking is nice to have for some crafting. But when it comes to professions, they are pretty much even except for two. What I've done here is I have simped my character with all the professions individually. And you can see the numbers right here. And which ones are like performing the best. And if you want to go for full performance, I don't care about what professions I have, you should be going Engineering and Tailoring for the highest damage. It's like 500 to 600 damage more than the other professions. The rest are pretty equal, so but if you want to top the meters and be like super optimized, go for Tailoring and Engineering. Why not? Engineering is also nice because you got the rocket boots, which will help out on some fights. I might self-switch to Engineering at some point during the expansion when Leatherworking is not as profitable as it is for me right now. Okay, let's talk about rotation. This rotation, the opener that I have here is from WoW Sims and how they do it. So this should be the highest simulated damage opener that you can do. I'm currently not doing it, but I'm trying to learn how to do it and get it into the nitty-gritty of how I should do my opener. It takes some time to learn, but so the first 4 you do is before the combat. And of course you want to use Hunter's Mark on the target. You want to place an explosive trap and a snake trap in front of the target. And of course you want to pre-pot. And then on your opener you want to explosive shot, then glaive toss, then a Murder of Crows, then you use Favor and Stampede, then you use Black Arrow together with Rapid, it's your pet that's casting it so it won't take up a GCD, and then you use Rapid Fire, and then you do your single target rotation. And your single target rotation should be always keep up Serpent's Sting, prioritize Explosive Shot over everything else, then you should prioritize Kill Shot, Glaive Toss, Black Arrow, and Arcane Shot. So Arcane Shot is just your filler if there's nothing else to do. The most important thing here is always use Explosive Shot when it's off cooldown. It's the most important thing, and that's where you're gonna see your numbers go up when you start prioritizing it over everything else. For your AoE rotation, you want a multi-shot, Explosive Trap if there is more than, is it 4 or 5? Something like that. I'm not the best to AoE. And Glaive Toss or Barrage, depending on which talent you have. So yeah, that's pretty much it for your Hunter rotation. When it comes to rotation, I wanted to note one thing here. This is from WoW Sims, and this is where I get my information. It's after you have simulated a build, you can go into results and then timeline. Here you can see how it managed to do the damage it did. There are some stuff about Explosive Shot not working as it used to in Cataclysm, where the debuffs of the Explosive Shot won't stack. But it doesn't matter, because you still want to use all your Explosive Shots ASAP. You can see the simulation here, it has done this. It overrides its own Explosive Shot debuff with another Explosive Shot because it triggered Lock and Load. And the reason you want to do this is because if you spam it ASAP, you will have more Explosive Shot uses overall during a fight because it gets off cooldown faster. So you still want to spam it even though the debuff doesn't overlap anymore. Yeah, just wanted to point that out. Okay, the last thing we're gonna talk about is setup. So these are just some useful things that I find really useful and I think most people should be using. The first thing is this weak aura right here. It shows me which aspect that I'm currently in, and it would even glow as an example here when I'm in pack, or if I'm in cat or tiger, and I'm in combat, it will also glow, right? So it just keeps showing me which aspect that I'm in and what I should be wary of. This weak aura can be found in the YouTube links down below. Another thing to go with this weak aura is a macro. It's a sequence macro for the aspects. So I only need to use one button instead of 2 buttons to switch between Tiger and Hawk. It's really nice to only having to use one button here in Mr. Pandaria, where survival hunters have a fuck ton of buttons to use, so it's nice to combine some of the stuff. Another macro that is nice to have is pet macros. So if you have noticed when you're playing, your pet doesn't swap target ASAP when you do. So having, as an example, your Cobra Shot having a pet attack macro in it is really nice for it to swap instantly. I have this macro on Cobra Shot and I also have it on my Serpent's Sting. Yeah, just to make sure your pet attacks ASAP. I also have some pet passive macro for Spirit Kings as an example, where you need to stop damage. So yeah, that's really nice. Another thing for your pet is, let's summon one here. Your pet has an ability called Rapid. It increases attack speed by 70% for 20 seconds. You don't want to use this ability on trash, so have it always set to off on auto toggle. So what I do instead is I have my Black Arrow to activate Rapid for my pet, and my Favor to activate Rapid for my pet, so it doesn't use it accidentally. The last macro I would recommend everyone having is a deterrence macro. This activates deterrence. You can see it here. So deterrence is on for 4 seconds before it goes off. But what if you want to just dodge one thing and then keeps damaging? Let's say it takes 1 second for the damage to hit you. So you put it on, and then you can click the button again to take it off instantly. It's a cancel aura. So so you can keep damaging and get them passes. Yeah, pretty much those are my recommended setup for all hunters in general. They're really nice to have, and it makes a lot of a difference, and it makes it way more easy to play hunter, to be honest. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching my video. As always, you can find everything that I talked about in the links above in the YouTube description. And as I said, there's timestamps and everything if you want to go back and rewatch some of it. All the numbers that I've gained throughout this video is pretty much just from WoW Sims. So if you have any questions yourself, go out and discover that website and do some testing. It helps me a lot to find out what is best and what I should be doing. So definitely go check out WoW Sims and wowtbc.gg for some more survival hunter information. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask down below. I'm not the best at everything, but I might be able to answer some of your questions. And hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next video. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.